Locked in your little cycle like a prized poodle after its own tail.
You sound like a man who's grown tired of wearing his guts on the inside.
There's no need to get testy. I'm just curious about your worldview. Some kind of half-native mumbo-jumbo.
It's simple. I believe that only the truly brave can look at the world and understand that all of it, gods, men, everything else, will end badly. No one will be saved.
Maybe we've got more in common than I thought.
Did you hear?
It's a long
He's got that match
story.
in his mouth that he talks about.
I've got a request for a pyrotechnic effect. Los Diablos, low yield, 2 charges.
Approved.
Authorizing.
So is he in on it with that guy? Or he just gets whatever he wants?
Step lively, Hector.
It's gonna blow up in his face. That was well timed.
Get it over with.
How did they not hear the explosion? Oh, mind you, they are a way away. I'll let them off.
Motherfucker.
That thing you're looking for, you're never gonna find it in that safe.
I was 7 when they rode into my town. Masked men in devil's horns. They killed everyone, women, children, even the animals. They gutted my mother from her jaw to her sex. I had to paint her, warm blood over my skin to make sure that they would think I was dead. Every one of them I tracked down, I used their blood to paint my skin again.
Only one man left.
What?
The head of the snake.
What?
What's his name?
He has many names. And most know him as Wyatt.
It just clicked when she said about men in masks, because wasn't Teddy attacked by men in masks after he went after Wyatt? Ah, so it looks like Wyatt has a bigger part to play. That's why. Hang on a minute. Why did Ford give him the backstory all of a sudden? Is someone leaving clues?
Hey, little girl, what is this? What does it mean?
Don't waste your breath, lady. That thing's part of their so-called religion.
It feels like somebody is leaving clues, like the photo, toy. They're leaving stuff about for them to notice.
Well, if we just...
Tomorrow I have to talk to Ford.
Why?
He's creating chaos in the park. And the board will be descending at any moment. I need to buy some time.
Narrative you're creating is clearly a massive endeavor. If you need more time, I'm sure the board would be happy to oblige.
I'm sure they'd be happier for me to delay it indefinitely. I've seen many of you come and go over the years, and I can tell the ones who enjoy their time here and the ones who don't.
I admire it. The audacity of it.
Oh.
I've forgotten how beautiful it is. I came here once as a child with my parents. I think we even sat at this table. Or maybe that one.
Do you know what? when they're telling their backstories now, I always wonder whether Ford's the one that put it into them
When I
and they're
started
actually
working
hosts.
here,
Arnold always held a somewhat dim view of people. He preferred the hosts. He begged me not to let you people in. The money men. Tell us. But I told him we'd be fine, that you didn't understand what you were paying for. It's not a business venture, not a theme park, but an entire world. We designed every inch of it. Every blade of grass. In here we were gods, and you were merely our guests.
Somebody tells me he's got a bit of a god complex.
And how did that work out for Arnold?
Sadly, he lost his perspective. He went mad. I haven't. As you well know, I have always seen things very clearly.
I'm starting to question whether he's a bit crazy.
This is the table
Maybe just
I
a
sat
bit.
at with my parents. This is the chair I sat in.
We know everything about our guests, don't we? As we know everything about our employees. I do hope he will be careful with Bernard. He has a sensitive disposition.
Just letting her know he knows.
So I will ask you nicely. Please, don't get in my way.
The board will agree with me. They'll be sending a representative.
But they already have. I thought they would have told you. As I'm sure you have all feared. I'm not the sentimental type.
Yeah, Ford is not this much
Since this slim's
this
gonna
much
hold
crazy,
things.
I think, at the minute.
So,
Did I fucking tell you or what?
Oh. Oh, shit. Can they fight them? That's all I want to know. Can the hosts punch the visitors?
Looks like Wyatt's man left somebody behind after all.
Teddy.
Oh, it's Teddy.
Look, my boss, El Lazo, he'll pay you twice what the marshal's will. And if you cut me loose and give me to Pariah.
Listen to me, you low down piece of dirt.
right.
These men won't move.
What the fuck?
Lucky we just got him.
Look, you just shot an innocent
That
man.
guy's gonna get him killed.
He's a robot.
I know he
Slim
can't
her,
get shot, but he's
just
gonna
like
get him
Slim
killed
here.
still.
Except it's...
This is what happened before. So we're gonna see him rob the bar again and get the safe. But he warned him about the safe, so maybe they won't go for the safe this time. I love the music choice.
Now, my lovely friend.
He reminds me of Puss
What
in
deal
Boots.
is
I don't know why.
You're here for what's in the safe.
Puss in Boots.
How would you know that? The man who walks between worlds. You were sent from hell to oversee our world.
Ah! Go on then.
Open up
Stick
after
it in
powder,
there.
we'll fire.
What does it mean?
I'm not crazy after all.
they're just going to wipe her memory anyway, so... So there we have it, episode 4. Wow. So let's start with that ending, I think, because that's most fresh in my mind. So Maeve has started remembering again all these things that have happened, and she got, well, she tried to get that cowboy, or that villain, to cut out the, or should I call him Puss in Boots? Because, come on, it reminds me of Puss in Boots. She got him to cut out the bullet, but she has the bullet fragment now, and she remembers now. Will she remember? Because they're blatantly, I think she got killed in that last part, and she's blatantly going to have a memory wiped again, and then she'll have to remember it all, unless she stores it away like she did all the papers, and maybe she writes something down and then keeps the book there with that, and it would then trigger more memories of what happened, and then gradually she'll build up this like memory bank of stuff, and it's part of papers and evidence, and she'll stumble upon it one day and then finally do something about it. It's a really interesting one. That I'm really curious as to how they're going to handle Maeve going forward. We also had Dolores remembering stuff, and she is like completely off the reservation now. She is just on her own story. She's just gone off, and she's with the guy. I think his name's William. I think he said William, and he called him Billy, and he didn't like that, or he called him Bill or Billy. But yeah, I think his name's William, that new guy. She's with him at the moment, and he's protecting her. But I wonder how long it is before, like, the people at Westworld send in agents. Like, there was that one guy at that town who tried to grab her arm and take her away. Are they going to try and take her away and then just do another memory wipe? I guess we'll have to wait and see how that story... Because I've got a feeling William's brother-in-law, I'm not sure of his name, I think he's going to get them into some big, big trouble. And I think it may end up causing the brother-in-law to die. I'm not sure if Billy will die or William will die. Yeah, that's the only way I can see that going at the minute, because apparently they're taking that guy to his boss, because he thinks it's an Easter egg mission, but who knows, maybe it is. But yeah, we'll have to see where they go with that storyline. We also had more of the Man in Black, and this time he was on about the maze again. He spoke about the maze. We also learned a bit about him, because there were those 2 other visitors that said, "Thank you for saving my daughter's life," or something, or my friend's life, or something like that. And so that means in the real world he must be, I don't know, some sort of doctor. Maybe he's a doctor. Maybe he's the head of some sort of company that does charitable work. I don't know. That's an interesting one. Maybe the work he's doing in the park is to further the good for humanity in the real world. Maybe it's a big double bluff. Like, we're meant to expect him to be this bad guy, when in fact, yeah, but why would he rape someone? No, my own argument's falling apart as I think about it. But yeah, anyway, the Man in Black, he talked about the maze and the fact it is something metaphorical. It is unlocking the brain of these hosts. So yeah, at least we got that clarification. We now know what the maze is, and we know he's heading somewhere to find out more about it. But if he's a human, unless he works for a rival company, and he's trying to unlock the secrets to making hosts human, if that makes sense. And by human, I mean they have a consciousness, they have a sense of being, they have their own thoughts. It's much like the Turing test. Somebody in my comments wrote about the Turing test, and I looked it up, and it's about whether you can distinguish between a computer and a human through the same set of questions. If you get the same sort of responses and you can't tell which one is human and which one is robot, then it doesn't really matter. We also had more of Ford this episode. The more the story is progressing, the more he's looking like he may have a god complex. I mean, a man who is capable of creating human life practically, and is capable of just stopping people like Professor Xavier out of X-Men, just stopping them dead and controlling who lives and dies. It would have an effect on your psyche, I guess. As for what his new narrative is, I have no idea. He's building a big hole, I know that much. But apart from that, I'm just intrigued to see where it goes, because he must have some big reason as to why he's doing what he is, like building this huge hole, wanting to do this one last story, and something tells me it's going to have like far-reaching ramifications. As to what they are, we'll have to wait and see as per usual. We did have a bit more Bernard again this episode, and it started off at the beginning with him talking to Dolores, and it seems the conversation he was having with her was straight after that part where he ran away, or sorry, where she ran away from her home after her father was killed. And yeah, he was basically talking about how she felt about that situation. But the thing that gets me is the fact that after that conversation, she woke up back next to William. Now, I'm not 100% sure if that is in chronological order, whether that her father was murdered again, she killed that guy, she fell into William's arms. Maybe during the night she was taken back there, questioned, and then she was laid back at the camp with William the next morning. Or whether this series of events we're seeing unfold with her story is a while before she's having this conversation with Bernard. This is what I was on about at the beginning of the show, before we did the reaction. I was talking about time and how time can be construed in different ways in this series, as in we don't know what series of events are happening when, because stuff is on the loop, and then like there's big chops and changes everywhere, if that makes sense. If you have an idea like whether that conversation happens between her arriving at the camp and her waking up in the morning at the camp with William, just let me know in the comment section what you think, whether that is in chronological order or whether that's like all that this whole story is happening that's happening now with her, and then this conversation with Bernard is happening further down the line, because I'm not too sure about that. Also, in the middle of this episode, there was a part where the man in black was talking about Arnold and how he had one last story to tell. And then he pulled out the scalp and it had a picture of the maze on it. So maybe Arnold, if he's not the man in black, Arnold left behind these clues on the scalps to show how to make these hosts sentient, how to make them conscious. It's a bit of a stretch, I know, but you know, I'm grasping at straws a minute and I'm trying to come up with reasons why this man would know Arnold, the man in black would know Arnold. Following on from like the maze thing, we also had the man in black find out about the snake tattooed woman and how when she was younger, well, according to her backstory, when she was younger, her mother was murdered and she had to cover herself in her mother's blood in order to pretend to be dead. And now she's going after the people who went after her family, and each time she kills one of them, she paints herself in their blood again, which is basically the tattoo and the snake. And when the man in black asks about the head of the snake, of course, which I sort of recognised halfway through the reaction, is Wyatt. So, saying that, why did Ford give Teddy the backstory of Wyatt? And now we find out the man in black is after Wyatt as well. I'm really unsure as to... They must have relation in some way. It's funny how in the previous episode he was given that backstory to go after Wyatt, and in this episode the man in black goes after Wyatt. And also the man in black did stumble across Teddy. So maybe their paths were meant to meet and that's why he gave him the backstory. I don't know, man. This is confusing me. But anyway, I could ramble on for hours about theories and what happened in the episode, but I'm sure you don't want to hear that. So, thank you for watching again. And also, before I do go, I want to say thank you to everyone who subscribed, who has watched, who has left comments especially, because your theories and like your conversations has really sparked my interest in this series even more. It's got me like thinking about it more and like coming up with theories, and that's actually something I do with Game of Thrones a lot. I come up with theories and speculation, so I really appreciate that. Thank you to everyone who has commented and liked the videos and watched them. I really appreciate it, and hopefully you'll stick with me for the rest of this journey. Until then, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.